Sorry guys, I know it's been over a month, but I wanted to get a video of a little more completion of what I had done. I've literally been working on it like here and there, half hour at a time, so it's definitely been slower. Lost a little bit of footage, not really sure what happened to it, but I'll make this a part one, I guess, and then part two I can go over a few other things again that I lost. Doing some other side projects like painting the whole outside of the garage, which took about 7 gallons of paint, and just trying to prep for winter and whatnot. So yeah, now what I'm doing is actually clamping these on, which I will put this up, mount it, and you guys will see. I'm gonna work on getting this square and level and all that. Yeah, I know in a lot of videos I just talk kind of afterwards. I like to kind of show more of the process. So let me kind of show you what's going on right now. So I already got one piece clamped on. I'm going to take another clamp and clamp this one to the inside of it, which should then align with this, the actual frame. Well, actually, maybe I'll take this off and then put this up on an angle, and then that should actually sit on the outside of this, and that'll kind of hold it in place. That might be better. Okay, this is why you kind of do some mock layout stuff here. So, if I put this side on the inside where it should be, that side doesn't work. So let's see here, that's about equal. But as you can tell, the pieces coming up are very much so on an angle. So I don't know how helpful that is, but I can at least kind of do some measurements. Maybe I'll do some measurements off the fender area. But I think my next step is going to be cleaning these up, and then welding the piece in, and then going from there. I'd like to get these welded in, get the first piece welded into the bracket, because those are going to be where they're at, and then from there I'm going to kind of have to, I guess, feather things in a little bit, make it work. It'd been nice to have the unibody be nice and square and straight and in line, but that's not how it is. Let me zoom in. I guess I can't zoom in any more than that, but yeah, I mean that's pretty bad. So it is what it is. Yeah, I have to do a little cleanup on this bracket. I didn't end up, when I did the plug welds on it, I didn't end up grinding those flush yet, so I'll have to grind those flush, and then I'll have to start cutting and grinding this way. Not quite sure what to do with this, how far to take this, but I'll at least get this all cleaned up and then this cleaned up. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'll save this for last, and then I'll start tack welding stuff in place and see how that goes. Got those ground flush, so I could put I'll tack in this one here. First I might actually cut this, but I want it flush with this here and this here. So just for reference, if I put this, I have quite a bit to cut off. I left extra just because I wasn't sure how the fitment was going to go. So I will cut those off next and then tack that in. Alright, had to take the floating frame out, do a little bit of welding and tacking. It was just getting in the way. Had to cut another piece here, but I just have the spacer, and here's the spacer, and then the frame rail that it's going to possibly get chopped and angled up, tacked in. Had those all cleaned up. I found these Hercules flap discs from Harbor Freight that were real cheap. Those worked great for cleaning up these pieces of steel, but got that tacked in. As you can see, that's why I did the plate, because I wouldn't really be able to get much welding here. So I got the first side in, now to work on the second side. Got to cut this first, and then I'll get those in. Alright, got both sides welded in. I realized after I got this side done that I didn't have any real measurements, just because these plates were just a little bit different. So I ended up, and then this was all kind of cut, not very precise. You can see this one's kind of a hack. I'll have to figure and fill that in. But first measurement, I kind of took off the back there, this cross member. And then I kind of got a judgment of that. But they were a little bit different, so I ended up actually going off of this hole to the front here. Ooh, it's a little warm still. So from there to there, and from there to there. And then I also ran a measurement from the bottom over to the back of the rear hatch, just kind of verifying everything seemed to be pretty square. So I tacked this one in, and then because I knew both of these were the same length, I measured this off, which was 1 5/8 inches, and tacked that one in, and then running just to, if I can get a level, just a straight edge across. When I slide it all the way to this side and kind of base it off where it sits in the wheel well. Ooh. It's pretty close to the same. So before I go any further, I thought I'd do a little cleanup, pick up some tools, everything. And I was tired of laying in metal shavings. That's all the metal shavings I was laying in. That's quite a bit. So kind of brushed off most of the areas I could real quick. Got it cleaned up. I'm gonna put some tools away. Maybe even vacuum out some of the floorboard just to clean it up. So yeah, starting fresh. Alright, just finished cleaning up. I actually vacuumed out everything. Got the floors pretty clean. I didn't like truly scrub, but I got majority everything. Got some tools out of it. Got the seat and all the blocks of wood. So now this is nice and clean for me. I finally got tired of rolling around in all of it and always having to move stuff, so figured I'd take a day and get some cleaning done. Alright, got the frame in kind of where I think it needs to sit. It's floating with 4 ratchet straps. I ended up pulling the axle in just to see kind of fitment and what I thought. You can see for some reason I have a lock hanging from kitty corner, and that was to help just with the extra weight. So I got this pretty square, had a string up here. Couldn't use the laser, none of the metal's actually flat and square, so I ended up taking a string to a spot on each end that had a mark that was in the same spot across. But I ended up cutting 2 pieces of cardboard, Same length of the tube that I had cut. And then I had taken back here the one piece and I cut it to where it essentially would fit. I'm not actually cutting the tube like that. I just wanted to get the angle. So then from there, I took my angle finder and then ended up getting, so I changed it here, but I checked it on multiple sides and everything. It came out to 54. Geez. Yeah, 54 degrees. So now I'll end up, so this is not obviously the right angle here that I'd drawn in. That was my initial prediction, but for me doing it on paper and everything, I wasn't terribly off. That angle would work, but I just happen to like this one better. So I will end up cutting both of these with that angle of 54, notch that, both of these, and then kind of lay this back in. Well, I'll probably notch these two at 54. I'll notch both of these at 54, then come back in with a piece of cardboard, relay it in, make sure I have my length and angles right on here, and then go to the steel one and cut it. Alright, so I had made this cardboard cutout where this is the high piece over the axle, the angle down, and then this would essentially be the part I welded in to the front of the unibody. So here's the piece that goes over the axle. I just cut it, both of these, chamfered them for welding, and then got the other one, angle down, cut. Looking pretty close so far. And then we'll have to cut this end after I cut essentially this piece in the frame. That's going to be the hard one to cut because I got to do that one by hand. All these have been over on the chop saw, which is actually super sketchy. Mostly because I haven't cleaned anything up, but that's flammable. Kind of put that there as protecting. There's a bunch of wood shavings everywhere. Got both of these tack welded in. I got the next angle figured out here. Haven't marked down this one, but cutting these will be next. But this is why you mock things up a little bit. So the inside to inside is supposed to be 30 1/8 is what I'd kind of planned for. This is a little bit closer to 30 1/4, but you can see here that isn't matching up. So I'm going to have to narrow the frame up to, oh gosh, what was it? Just for the sake of the video at the moment, 29 3/8.